Hello, this is Ariella Carmel at Calcalis and Bank Leumie's Tech and Invest Conference in Miami. I'm joined by Eyal Bino, founding partner at 97212 Ventures.
Hi, Ariella.
Thanks for joining me.
It's great to be here.
So can you start off by telling us about 97212 Ventures?
Yeah, 97212 is a New York-based fund investing in Israeli startups and Israeli founders either in the US already. We invest at the pre-seed and seed stage. We're an agnostic fund investing between 250 to 750 as a first check. And really our kind of core focus is to help companies and founders move from 0 to 1, meaning access to first US customers, the venture scene in the US and in New York specifically, and building the company from the ground up so they can really excel and fulfill their potential.
So can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of the climate right now for investment in early stage pre-seed companies?
Yeah, well, it's been a very interesting year.
And Israeli companies specifically.
Yeah. So I think overall it's been a very interesting year in the venture scene in the US and in Israel. And I think what I'm seeing in Israel is there's a lot of capital looking for great companies. A lot of funds raised capital in 2021, in 2022, and are looking for great companies to invest in. Obviously, the war has slowed down the investment pace, but I think what has created also an urgency to look for great entrepreneurs, especially since seeing the evolution of AI and Gen AI and what it's been creating in the market in general. So I think that's on that side. I think what I'm also seeing is a flow of really good founders who are coming to kind of out of the woodwork and taking a chance and looking at the climate right now and saying, okay, this is a really good time for us to build a company despite the war, despite everything that's going on. And obviously we're pretty excited about that development.
And do you think that I've heard from some investors that there's even increased interest in a sense because there's maybe less competition in terms of investing currently because a lot of foreign investors have left in the past year?
Yeah.
That's true?
Well, it's kind of a mixed baggage, right? So a lot of the Israeli funds are looking for great entrepreneurs. I think the challenge that a lot of funds playing in the market in Israel is that now some of the bigger funds have opened offices in Israel. Sequoia has an office in Israel, Greylak has an office, Index, etc. And that has created actually even more competition for great companies, which founders are benefiting from, right? There's more options for capital to raise. But I think on the other hand, the pricing doesn't really make sense in many of the deals that I'm seeing. And many of the LPs and investors in New York are saying, hey, why is the company so expensive? They're raising, $5 million in that valuation when...
Like it's overvaluated?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's really interesting to see. On the US side, I think that a lot of the funds are trying to invest in companies that are already based in New York, because especially at the seed stage, you want to work with the entrepreneur, you want to work with the founding team to help them move from 0 to 1 and build an interesting company. So I think what we are seeing as a fund is that there's actually more demand to our product, if you want to call it, being Israelis, but really understanding the US market, based in New York, which is obviously a kind of a tech hub that Israeli founders really like to kind of move to. So I think it's interesting, and we've seen a lot more companies in 2024 trying to raise money than in 2023, which for us is obviously it gives us more options and more access to good companies.
And you haven't seen maybe an impact on investor interest, perhaps among your investors, in investing in Israeli companies in the last period?
So I think raising capital for a fund, our fund is about to do a final close in a few weeks, so it's actually a very timely conversation. I think what's really interesting is some Jewish investors saying, hey, we want to invest in your fund because we believe in Israel, we believe in the opportunity, and we also want to do something for the Israeli economy. I think if you're a non-Jewish investor trying to kind of get into the Israeli tech scene, it's pretty hard because you see the level of risk, the challenges, the fact that airlines are not flying to Israel in and out. So it really creates kind of a friction between investors interested in Israeli companies and trying to and founders looking to get funded. I'd say we try to level the playing field by having Israeli founders be based in New York, or at least spend a meaningful amount of time here to build the level of trust that they need to build with investors, with customers, and with the tech scene in general.
Do you see an increase in terms of Israeli companies shifting to the U.S. or trying to move their, say, offices to the U.S. relocating?
Yeah, I think I'm seeing a shift of founders trying to move here as quickly as possible, whether it's at the pre-seed stage or a seed stage, because I think they realize, let's build a tech in Israel, but we really need to create that level of trust with the venture scene, with customers and partners, and build the right team. Because it's very challenging now to build a company in remote from Israel, and two, the market's moving so fast that founders need to adjust and respond. And I think that's a good development for the Israeli tech scene in general, because obviously 99% of Israeli companies are targeting the US market, and they need to be here in order to build a company, and that's why we believed in even before the war. So now it's only accelerating.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Eyal, for joining us and for your insights, and enjoy the conference.
Thank you so much.